Hello guys, welcome to my channel Chem Insider. So in today's class we are going to discuss about certain laws of some basic concepts in chemistry of chapter class 11. So in this chapter we are going to first discuss about a law of conservation of mass. So this law of conservation of mass was given forth by Antonio Lavoisier. First law is law of conservation of mass. So this law was given forth by a father of chemistry who is known as Antonio Lavoisier. So Antonio Lavoisier stated that in the universe energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So this law of conservation of mass, we know that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So what he observed was, whenever you carry out a chemical reaction, let us say A plus B gives product C plus D. If A plus B gives CD, let us say A plus B gives CD. If this is a chemical reaction, Antonio Lavoisier found that according to the law of conservation mass, according to the law, first law of thermodynamics, zeroth law of thermodynamics, we know energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So now here we are creating a chemical energy. The chemical reaction is nothing but a reaction of between two reactants to form a product, which product may have a different chemical energy, may not have a different chemical energy. So now, in order to verify that, Antonio Lavoisier, what he did was, he calculated the exact masses of reactants which he is reacting and the exact mass of the product which he got. So that is, he determined the mass of he found out the mass of, he first calculated the mass of a reactant which he is using. Let us say A and B is giving mass of A and small b, A grams of small a grams of capital A and small b grams of capital B, and he found out that the product which is formed has same mass, that is almost exactly equal with the mass of sum of the reactants, that is A plus B. So if he has taken 2 grams of A and 3 grams of B, he has found that the mass of product formed is 5 grams. So this made him to give away a first law of chemistry, that is law of conservation of mass. In this he stated that if in a chemical reaction you are reacting two reactants to get a product, then the mass of the reactant which is used will be same as that of the mass of the product which you get. So the mass of reactant and a product in a chemical reaction will always be same. Mass of reactant and the product in a chemical reaction will always be same. This is our first law of the basic chemistry, that is law of conservation of mass. Mass of reactant will always be same to the mass of product in a given chemical reaction. Okay, so this was given by Antonio Lavoisier. He found out by determining the exact masses of reactants A and B which he reacted to get a product CD, which was found to have mass exactly equal to the sum of masses of these two reactants. Okay, so this is about the law of conservation of mass. Next is law of definite proportions. Law of definite proportions. Law of definite proportions. This law was stated by Joseph Frost. This law was stated by Joseph Frost. He gave forth this law by his experimental observation. That is, what he did was, he first synthesized a chemical compound, that is cupric carbonate. He synthesized cupric carbonate, and he also took a natural cupric carbonate of CuCO3. So he took a natural compound of CuCO3 and he synthesized a compound of CuCO3. Actually, in the earlier times he didn't know exact formula. He used to call it cupric carbonate. He didn't know the formula, but once he split down all these values of atomic masses present, the percentage composition of compounds present in this, he found that the composition of synthetic cupric carbonate was exactly same with the composition of natural cupric carbonate. He found that the composition of synthetic cupric carbonate was exactly same to the composition of natural cupric carbonate, which made him to say that whenever two or more reactants are forming a compound, it always forms a given compound either in any state, it may be synthetic or in a natural condition. Those composition will always be exactly same. That is nothing but the definite proportions. That is, the components present either in a synthetic given compound or a natural compound, the composition will always be definite. So therefore the law was called as law of definite proportions. This law was stated by Joseph Frost. He stated that in case of either a synthetic compound or a natural compound, so however the state of existence may be, the compound, if is taken, it will have an exact definite proportion for its formation. That is, in case of synthetic cupric carbonate, it was CuCO3. Natural cupric carbonate, it was CuCO3. It has definite proportions of mass in order to combine them to form cupric carbonate. That is, exact definite proportion mass of copper, carbon and oxygen were used to prepare cupric carbonate. So this is about the law of definite proportions. Next is law of multiple proportions. Law of multiple proportions. Multiple proportions. So in this law, John Dalton stated that if two reactants are giving two different products, the formation of that product has different multiple proportions. Like for example, so we understood with an example. Let us take we are considering hydrogen reacting with oxygen. So we know hydrogen exists in 2, oxygen is again a molecule. So H2 plus O2 gives us H2O. Right? H2 plus O2 gives H2O. In a similar way, H2 plus O2 gives us H2O2, hydrogen peroxide. So here hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form water, and again hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form hydrogen peroxide. Now we'll use the first law, that is the conversion of mass, in which we use 2 grams. For hydrogen mass, we know it is 1 gram. So our mass of hydrogen molecule will be 2 grams. Mass of oxygen molecule will be 32 grams, right? 32 grams. But what we use over here is we just use 1 molecule. So if you consider over here, so we use 2 atoms of hydrogen. So multiply in order to balance the equation. We have 2 H2O and 2 H2. You can take this also, or you can also take 1 by 2 O2, 1 H2O. So then the mass will be 16 grams. So this total gives us 18 grams of water. Let us say this is our law of conservation of mass. 2 grams of hydrogen with 16 grams. That is because we are taking just 1 atom of oxygen. So 2 grams of hydrogen reacts with 1 atom of oxygen to form 18 grams of water molecule. Okay. So 2 grams of hydrogen, 16 grams of 1 atom of hydrogen oxygen reacts to form 18 grams of H2O. In this case, we use 2 grams of hydrogen and 32 grams of oxygen to get 34 grams of hydrogen peroxide. So if you observe over here, if we alter the proportions, we get a different product. If you alter the proportion, if you write down the ratios of hydrogen and oxygen reacting, here it is 2 grams of oxygen with 2 grams of hydrogen with 16 grams of hydrogen. That is 2:16, whereas here it is 2:32. So almost it's a double value. So that is law of multiple proportions says that if you use different proportions of 2 reactants, if 2 different elements are taken in two different proportions, they give us different molecules of compound. So here we are using 2 grams of hydrogen with 16 grams of oxygen to get 18 grams of water. In this case we are using 2 grams of hydrogen with 32 grams of oxygen to form 34 grams of hydrogen peroxide. So John Dalton said that in case of two reactants in which one of them is of different proportion and one is of constant proportion, then that multiple proportion gives us multiple compounds. So that is what is said as law of multiple proportions. Okay, so this is about the law of multiple proportions. Next is Gay-Lussac's law. Next is fourth one, Gay-Lussac's law. This is also called as law of conservation of volume. Law of conservation of volume. Gay-Lussac's law or law of conservation of volume. So what this Gay-Lussac's law or law of conservation of volume states is, in this particular law, it was explained by Gay-Lussac's. What he considered was, instead of considering mass or anything, he considered volume of gases. If you are combining two gases of volumes, of definite volumes, if you are reacting two gases of definite volumes, let us say I am reacting 100 ml of hydrogen with 100 ml of oxygen. If you are heating 100 ml of hydrogen with 100 ml of oxygen to prepare water molecule, so here what we get is, we get use of just 100 ml of water. We prepare just 100 ml of water, leaving behind 50 ml of oxygen unreacted. So therefore, that is how is this. So H2O2 gives H2O plus half O. So instead of half O, we are writing O2, that is half O2. Okay. So out of the 100 ml of oxygen which we use, we are consuming just 50 ml to prepare 100 ml of water molecule, and the rest 50 ml will be left over. So how can we do that is, now just consider we are taking 50 ml of oxygen. Instead of leaving behind the unreacted oxygen, we are considering just 50 ml of oxygen. So there will be no remaining of oxygen, remainder of oxygen. So now let us take this in 3 boxes. One box each having 50 ml volume size. So we are taking 50 ml of hydrogen, again another 50 ml of hydrogen and 50 ml of oxygen. Hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen. Okay, so let I'm going to denote the hydrogen in blue. Let us consider each 50 ml of hydrogen contains 6 atoms of hydrogen and 50 ml of oxygen contains 6 atoms of O. So just like this. So what it does is, we know the formula, oxygen reacts with 2 atoms of hydrogen to form water molecule. So the resultant H2O will have 6 molecules again. Instead of taking 18 dots, observe here, we have 6 dots for each of the hydrogen boxes. 6 dots for this, 6 dots of oxygen. Now each dot of oxygen is reacting with 2 other hydrogens. So that gives us oxygen with, that gives us like this, we can consider it. So each one attached with hydrogens like this. So we have 6 molecules of water. Okay, so if you observe over here, each of the oxygen atom is taking away 2 hydrogens. Therefore, if we use 100 ml of oxygen, 100 ml of hydrogen with 50 ml of oxygen, we get 100 ml of water. So this where, if you observe over here, we are taking 50 plus 50 plus 50. We are supposed to get 150 ml of water, but that is not how it works. it works according to the amount of higher volume. Amount of higher volume will be the same as volume of the product. Okay, that is the volume of the product will be equal to the volume of reactant of higher value. So here we are taking 100 ml of hydrogen with 50 ml of oxygen to get 100 ml of water. So this is what about the Gay-Lussac's law. He states that if you are reacting two gases of two exact volumes, of two different volumes at same temperature, if you are reacting gases which are at same temperature and then they give product which is equal to volume of one of the reactant which is of higher order. So if you are supposed to take more amount of hydrogen to react with oxygen, let us say you are using 100 ml of oxygen. So in order to get completely use those 100 ml of oxygen, we need to use 200 ml of hydrogen. We need to use 200 ml of hydrogen. So that is, if you are reacting two gases and you don't want any leftovers without reacted substances, such as what we observed over here, in that case, so if you want that kind of a situation, you have to consume all the reactant, one of the reactant completely. Then we have to take the other reactant which is of more requirement in a higher order. So if you have 100 ml of oxygen, you need to take 100 ml each of two hydrogen compounds, two hydrogen boxes. If you have 50 ml of oxygen, you need to take 50 ml each of two hydrogens. Okay, that will be 100 ml of hydrogen with 50 ml of oxygen. So this is about Gay-Lussac's law, or also called as law of conservation of volume. So in this, we have conserved the volume of the given reactant as the volume of product. This can be further explained better by our last law, that is Avogadro law. The last one is Avogadro law. Avogadro, that is from Avogadro law. Avogadro proposed that if you consider two gases, if you are taking two different gases, let us take or consider similar boxes of equal volume. If you take two different gases of equal volume, let us say I am taking here hydrogen gas and here I am taking oxygen gas. If you take two different gases or in two different boxes of equal volume, then at same temperature and pressure, what you observe is the number of atoms present in each of the boxes will be equal. That is, two different gases taken in two different boxes of equal volume, then the number of atoms present in those boxes will be same, provided it is at same temperature and pressure. So let us say I am having a room temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and the pressure of 1 atm atmospheric pressure. Then if I say there are 20 atoms in this volume of gas, hydrogen gas, then it will be 20 atoms of oxygen. It may be molecules in case of hydrogen. So hydrogen is a molecular compound, therefore it will be 20 molecules of oxygen, hydrogen will be present, which is equal to the 20 molecules of oxygen present in the same volume of gas. So that is what helped us to understand our Gay-Lussac's law. As we discussed earlier, we considered three boxes, right? Three equal boxes of equal volume with equal number of atoms. Similarly, Avogadro helped that particular equation by proposing this law. So in this law, he states that if you take two different gases in two different boxes of same volume, if two different boxes of same volume are taken and if you have filled two different gases in it, then at same temperature and pressure, if those two are maintained at exact equal temperature and pressure, then the number of atoms present in one box will be equal to the number of atoms present in the other box. If we consider for compounds, then one box of compounds, molecules, number of atoms, number of molecules present in one box will be equal to number of molecules present in other box. Okay, let us consider CO2. If you take CO2 gas in one box and if you get SO2 gas in another box, if these two compounds are taken at same temperature and same pressure in two containers of equal volume, if carbon dioxide has 200 molecules of carbon dioxide in it, then this box has 200 grams of SO2 molecules. So this is about the Avogadro law. Even though being is a right law, even though it being a good law, it was not given a particular importance as it was to be given. But in the later years of international conference, Canizos explained a chemical property using this Avogadro law, from which we considered Avogadro law as the best one for explaining reaction between two or more atoms of molecules in a gaseous state. So this is all about the different laws present in our basic chapter. So those are the 5 laws. The first one is about law of conservation of mass. Second one is about law of definite proportion. Third one is about law of multiple proportion. Fourth one is about law of conservation of volume, which is also called Gay-Lussac's law. And the last one is Avogadro law. Okay, so this is all about the different types of laws present in our first chapter of class 11. If you understood those topics of laws which I have explained, please do subscribe to my channel and share this among your friends so they can use of this. Thank you for watching.